I also asked Senator Merkley about Senator Warren's apology today. Here's more from my conversation with him. Let me turn to a colleague of yours. Your fellow Senator Elizabeth Warren apologized today for listing herself as an American Indian on her Texas bar application. What's your reaction to the controversy that now surrounds her?
Well, Elizabeth has been just an absolutely powerful force fighting for Americans, doing enormous good work and taking on unfairness in financial transactions, getting billions of dollars returned to citizens and probably helping them hold on to many tens of billions more. She's a real advocate for opportunity for every single American.
One Democratic strategist told me privately he believes, though, that it is a disqualifying thing to have written that on her application to say that she was American Indian. What is your thought on that?
I think she is a tremendous advocate for blue-collar Americans, and I really have no comment on that particular controversy. I think she's serving America, all Americans, very, very well through her role here in the Senate and would shine at any job she aspires to.
Let's turn to the president's State of the Union. President Trump renewed his call last night for a barrier on the southern border. Last week, you said that a border wall has become a, quote, racist symbol of the Trump administration's policies. Do you believe President Trump is racist?
Yes, I do.
And what evidence do you cite as the reason why you make that claim?
Well, he's attacked African Americans. He's attacked Latino Americans. He's certainly attacked immigrants. He's established a policy of child separation in which he inflicts trauma on children as part of a political strategy of deterrence. And he directs it towards those who come from the southern border, while he says things like, well, I wish I had more immigrants from Norwegian. From Norway, more Norwegian immigrants. Yes, I think he is very racist. And he's very, very divisive, trying to set one group of Americans against another. He's the divider in chief. And he plays on hate and bigotry, and it's unbecoming, but it's also deeply damaging.
As you know, his argument is that border security and specifically a barrier of some kind are necessary because of the lack of action by both parties up until this point on this issue of illegal immigration. What's your response to that?
Well, it's part of a big lie he tells America. We went through a number of years, 5 years in a row, where there was a net outflow of undocumented individuals from the United States. We have vast border security compared to 8 years ago or 10 years ago. We now have a shift from primarily Mexican men who are coming to families fleeing trauma in Central America. It's a big change. So while he's talking about denigrating immigrants as rapists and murderers, his team, his Attorney General and his Homeland Security Secretary are really addressing how do we stop families from coming here. And they come up with this idea of let's hurt the kids and that will deter them from coming. This is not acceptable under any moral code, under any religious tradition. It comes from a very dark and evil place in the heart of this administration.
In an apparent reference to possible Democratic challengers, the president said, quote, "We renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country." Will the United States ever be a socialist nation?
Well, the president, when he was campaigning, said he was going to defend Social Security and is going to defend Medicare. These type of safety net programs are part of who we are and how we make sure that people in their golden years do not suffer. And for the president to go on the attack against Social Security and Medicare doesn't surprise me. It is exactly what the House Republican leadership said after the tax bill. They said, you know, we just raided the National Treasury for $2 trillion to give to the richest Americans. Now we have to roll back Social Security and Medicare. And so not surprising to hear it from him, but clearly he was given a campaign speech designed to be a bitter, partisan speech rather than a unifying speech, and that was one of the pieces of it.
Two members of Congress, Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Markey, are reportedly introducing a Green New Deal bill into the House as early as next week. What specific items do you want to see included in that?
What they're introducing is a resolution, and it's a statement of objectives. And the core objectives are some things such as, let's drive a fast transition from fossil fuel, carbon pollution creating energy sources to renewable energy so that we save our planet. A second principle is let's create tens of millions of jobs as we renovate our energy economy. A third principle, a just transition for fossil fuel workers so that no one is left behind and so that we show respect and gratitude for all the work they've done to power our economy in the decades past. Fourth principle, do not leave behind our disadvantaged communities, our low-income communities, our minority communities. Make sure they benefit early on from the jobs that are being created and from the clean energy that's being produced. Those are four great principles, and I think we need to lay them out in this resolution, and then we need to work to form legislation to put it into action.
Would you abolish the filibuster in order to get a Green New Deal passed?
I think what we need to do is to go to a talking filibuster. I've advocated for years that we have gone from being a simple majority Senate almost all the time, with rare exception, to being a supermajority Senate almost all the time. And it means we've gone from being the cooling saucer that Washington reportedly talked about to being a deep freeze. And we are not serving America because we cannot address the challenges that are before us in America. We also have to look at use of reconciliation because it is the one place where you currently do have a simple majority process.